Acumen Risk is an advanced cost and schedule risk analysis tool. By providing both a fully integrated risk register with extremely fast and powerful analytics, Acumen Risk provides an unprecedented approach to risk management. Overcoming traditional limitations of building complicated risk models, Acumen Risk uses what we call the uncertainty factor to make risk loading very fast as well as very accurate. It also allows you to use the native schedule as the basis for building your risk model. Tying it all together, Acumen Risk provides highly intuitive reporting, allowing you to quickly and easily get insightful and meaningful results from your risk analysis. Acumen Risk integrates with multiple scheduling platforms, including Microsoft Project and Primavera, and can operate in both a single project as well as a multi-project mode. There are three moving parts to a risk model. There is the underlying schedule basis, there are uncertainty ranges, and risk events that impact the schedule. Once the sound basis of schedule has been established using the likes of Acumen Fuse, we can then take that schedule and apply both the uncertainties and the risk events. Previously, in order to apply uncertainties, we would have to define complicated and very time-consuming three-point estimates in the form of minimum, most likely, maximum durations. Well, that complexity has been completely eliminated now in Acumen Risk. Instead, we use the uncertainty factor. Simply take the sliders, as you can see here, and adopting a top-down approach as we apply the uncertainty factor, you can see here that the factor is cascading down through the entire schedule. If we just expand the schedule, you'll notice that as we apply the uncertainty factor at the parent level, the children activities inherit the same uncertainty factor. So the net result is we can risk load a schedule very, very quickly. Using this top-down approach, we can flag exceptions either on a per group or per WBS basis, but also flag exceptions on individual activities as well. Behind the scenes, there is what we call an uncertainty factor template that allows us to define exactly what those buckets of uncertainty actually represent. Once the uncertainties have been applied to the schedule, the next step is to define risk events in the risk register. Again, very, very easy in Acumen Risk. You simply select the risk matrix and define your risk event directly in the risk register. Each risk then carries a probability, a schedule impact, as well as a cost impact. And again, behind the scenes, the scoring mechanism for our risk register is defined in what we call a risk matrix template. We can define the number of probability ranges, impact ranges, and of course our tolerance to risk through the use of risk thresholds. In addition, Acumen Risk has a unique capability for automatically defining the ranges or the buckets based on the size and scope and cost of the project against which we're running our risk analysis. In addition, risk registers can be imported from external data sources. Again, very easy to import external risk registers and then apply those risks directly back to the schedule. In terms of risk mapping, you simply select the activity or the groups of activities and then the corresponding risk event, and Acumen Risk will automatically map that single risk to, in this case, multiple activities within the commissioning WBS. In addition to mapping risk events to groups of activities, you can also map single risks to specific activities within the schedule. Once we've applied our certainty factors and risk events, we can then run our risk analysis. From a reporting perspective, Acumen Risk contains three key risk reports. The first being the risk histogram. This is really the what report. It is what is our risk exposure. From this we can read off confidence levels against the schedule. We can also read off what we call p-values, an example being what is the date against which we have a 50% confidence in achieving. Additional p-values can be added to the report, and in a similar manner, contingency can immediately be seen simply by clicking on the chart. Acumen Risk not only reports where we need to apply contingency to our schedule, it also reports where we actually have too much duration built into the underlying schedule. The tornado chart is used to report both risk hotspots and key risk drivers within our schedule. Instead of using abstract percentage-based metrics to report risk drivers, Acumen Risk uses the unique schedule contribution factor. The schedule contribution factor not only tells us which activities are most responsible for a risk exposure, but secondly, it details these drivers in true duration and cost terms. By detailing out the tornado chart, we can see not only which activities are the risk hotspots in our schedule, but within those activities, how much of that risk exposure is being driven by logic, by uncertainty, or indeed specific risk events themselves directly from the risk register. Another unique capability of the Acumen Risk Tornado chart is to be able to roll up the tornado to specific levels within our WBS. The example being here, we've rolled all the way up to level 1. We can see a breakout now between construction, procurement, manufacturing, and commissioning. Multiple scenarios can be generated in Acumen Risk, including pre- and post-mitigated risk scenarios, as well as considering alternate approaches to risk reduction. Acumen Risk is as much a cost risk analysis tool as it is a schedule risk analysis tool. Analysis can be conducted in isolation of the schedule, or, as is more common, the impact from our schedule risk exposure can directly be linked back into our cost risk model. The ability to merge the results from our schedule risk analysis and have those directly drive the cost risk model is unique to Acumen Risk. The example here shows a cost risk exposure demanding $70 million of contingency, yet when we look at the additional impact being driven by schedule risk delay, we can see that the amount of required contingency increases from $70 million to $115 million, with a net increase of $45 million. This linking of schedule risk delay into our cost risk model is unique to Acumen Risk. Acumen Risk is designed for project teams and risk analysts alike. By combining fast yet accurate risk-building tools such as the uncertainty factor and integrating it with the advanced capabilities of the risk register, risk models can be built with speed and confidence. Likewise, analysis is extremely fast, and meaningful risk reporting is now available for the first time ever without the need for a statistician. Acumen Risk is literally changing the way projects conduct risk analysis today.